I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hoorah.
Hoorah. All right, we got that out of the way. Let's see a few more minutes here and see if there's any department heads that are going to show.
Or anything.
Next one.
For the other ones that we wanted to come back, were they supposed to come back tonight, or were they supposed to come back maybe to the third one?
Paul was gonna,
Paul, did you, I
Paul
guess,
will look into some things for us.
Paul, there were some questions the other day, and I think you and Jay were supposed to contact the department heads, questions. I think one of them was about the building maintenance down at the Highway and Bridges Yard.
Yeah.
They did give some explanation, but I think Alderman wanted a little more. Alderman Michelle wanted a little more. Correct?
Yes, yeah, it was a large request, but a very low give. And I wanted to see what the plan was.
Which group was that you?
The building department, I brought my
Oh.
wrong budget worksheet, so.
It was,
I didn't put mine around my kitchen counter. So.
Oops.
Yeah.
Paul, what I don't recall any of that. What do you have?
The first area of the schedule tonight is what I'd broadly call public safety. So police department, fire marshal, fire department, animal control.
Okay, but you know, as far as contact with anybody else to having a question answered.
I spoke, the only
questions
one that I
everyone
spoke
answered
with
last
earlier this week, I think Monday or so, was the chief of police. And he
Okay.
indicated that he was satisfied with the mayor's proposal and did not intend to be present at this meeting.
Okay.
Paul, and if I may, Chairman,
All right, go ahead, Mr. Simonetti.
the Alderman Violet had a question about, if I'm paraphrasing, please correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Violet, about the building maintenance down at the city yard. There was going to be some, it was going to be a little more expensive. It was a high amount of money, but I think it was to repair or to replace roofs and things like that. Do you have any, did anybody talk to somebody down there about that?
I did not.
I did not.
Um,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Paul.
We can get a follow-up on that in the next day, and I can speak to Chris Patusik as far as that's concerned, Anthony.
Yeah, I think that we have to look back, you have to look back at the minutes from the last meeting, so you get exactly what Ms. Violet wanted.
There are no minutes.
There are no minutes?
There are-
Did I record it at all?
They were
You got
done.
minutes?
There are minutes?
They were done,
There are
yeah. I
minutes.
sent them to,
So there are minutes. Yes, there are minutes.
Yeah.
It was a meeting.
Of these workshops?
Yes.
from the last workshop, not from the Board
Okay,
of
well,
Ed.
well, nobody here got them. If they were,
Are
I
they
sent them
online?
to Wendy.
Gave them to Wendy?
Paul, can you call Wendy and ask her to answer this question? She seems to be the only one that's got the minutes.
I had not seen a copy of the minutes. I don't know if they were distributed. I'm not aware that they were distributed.
They weren't distributed. We can attest to that. Anybody here got it?
No.
Well, why are we doing minutes if we're not gonna share them with the group?
Maybe they're posted.
We're not communicating.
I'm on the site.
Bill, you are,
You
okay.
want to hear?
Do we know when the,
Here, you
when
can
the-
use this to find what you want here.
next,
I'm not good with the
building?
I think it was in the book. Wayne had read through the
Yeah,
book.
but
It was a list of like
John,
several
look at the book
items.
just to help
That's-
us out.
Well,
Let me look at
Anthony,
Yeah.
I have them on my phone.
somebody check
The building department.
Well, you can do that. Lorenzo's gonna do it. Lorenzo's gonna check the website, city website for the minutes.
I don't know the number.
Building maintenance.
What's
What
the
number is it?
That's the problem.
001, 3200, 712.
3200, we just need the 3200.
3200?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
That's perfect.
What was this, what's the price?
3,200.
3200.
3,200 is highway from bridge.
Yeah, we know. We're looking to get that answer. The
Okay,
question
so
is,
there were some highlights here,
Since there's
so,
no one here, that's, you have to worry about.
yeah, I know, but it might be.
I just highlighted
I
any
have the
differences.
transcript on
Me
my
too.
phone because I sent it to her.
Oh, you have
If
the
want-
transcript?
if you want to look at it from there, it's kind
Let's
of
see here.
difficult.
We'll do our best.
So it was
Do you remember
line item 6508.
I pulled it up to.
Yes,
Yeah, just about at the bottom.
Like
That's right here,
$70,000 or
right
something.
It was 90,
She's
it
talking
was
about
this building
94,000.
maintenance.
That was the,
This is
Here's
where
the
we're at.
question. Do you want to read it? Because obviously.
I gotta
it's your
share with you.
okay.
Listen to Michelle.
So from the minutes, it was me who asked the question. I have a question. I'm
Yeah.
just curious that the building maintenance, does anybody know why they requested 91,000 for building maintenance and the allotted amount was 10,000? Was there a big project that they were hoping to get taken care of and was not allowed to? So I'm just curious why it was such a large disparity between what was requested and what was recommended.
If I remember, the answer that we got from the book was that they were going to do a roof repair. Let's see here.
Yeah, I think there were one or two other things besides the roof repair.
Here's what, if I may, Wayne Bragg. I have it brought up here and can tell you what it is, what is in it. There's a total of 90,000, 50,000 for the salt storage shed, and 22,000 is roof for existing steel racks, 9,000 for a new floor in the maintenance bay, and 10,000 for miscellaneous expenses, plumbing, heating, electrical maintenance, routine repair service, if it is identified, it is identified in the budget detail. So that was the answer. I don't know what more Ms. Bilek, you would want, but.
Well, why are we not giving it to them? I mean, if it's something that's needed, like, are we gonna plan on, taking out an aldermanic bonding and next, or, if we can put it into the budget, why wouldn't we
So
put it
what's
into
the
the budget?
rationale, really?
Right.
The only thing I can say is if we want to call,
And I thought we were supposed to have somebody from this department show up.
Or
Like,
respond to the
right,
email.
right. That's what we requested. So,
And if I could just add this, I think on this, and there's a few items also that you'll see this evening within the police department budget. It is the mayor's intent that these are expenditures that need to be done, but they can be done during the course of the coming fiscal year under aldermanic bonding.
why
that's
not
the
budget,
answer.
why not budget for it?
If it was coming out of automatic bonding, we wouldn't put it in the budget.
No, I know that. I understand that, but why not put it in the budget?
the whole reason is so we don't
Well, because,
overload the budget.
Trying to reduce the
no,
expense,
yeah,
trying to
there's no
reduce the
sense in building
expenses.
the budget.
You're shifting it from an expense to a capitalized
Capital
item.
project.
So we take two changes on the balance sheet, takes up P and L, puts it on the balance sheet.
We have over $2 million to spend.
So
And
that's
if it's a
why.
one-time expenditure too.
Yeah, and we have over 2% of the actual budget. So what's the budget's 124, 127, I forget, 124, I think total. So it's $2.4 million.
But it could be a one-time expenditure.
Yeah,
These
Also.
are not normal operating expenses, right?
Right.
These are capitalizable
Capital
items.
projects.
Right, your projects.
Okay.
so there's really no reason to put it in the budget from what I can see, correct, John? Okay,
Yeah, we've not, historically, what we've done is long-term repairs of this nature. We did take them out of order while we bonded because it's a bonding. It's not going to be paid one fiscal year, we pay it over
5 years.
5 years, you get the bonding, it's 5 years.
John, these generally extend the useful life of the, whatever it is that we're doing, right? And that's the roof on a shed or something that
Yeah,
extends the useful life, so it meets the criteria for capitalization.
yeah, there's no, yeah, that's right. It's a capital item.
Okay.
And, He put it in his budget, requested, if he needs it, I understand where he's coming from. He probably doesn't understand that we capitalize out of word of mouth and bond.
Okay,
And it's probably that simple.
So
Because
they should
we
answer
are,
that.
we
then.
are going to deny the repairs.
Right.
Nobody at this table would deny the repairs.
Okay.
Right? You want to keep it, if they're using it, it's got to be done. It's just a matter of, you want to pay for it 1 year by putting it in the budget, or you want to pay for it, capitalize it, pay for it.
Yeah, I
over 5
understand.
years.
I-
And that's-
I-
that's-
I completely
You're right,
understand
Adam.
that.
So out of curiosity and out of ignorance, is there like a running list of capital projects that,
No.
that people in the city
No.
are
There-
waiting for?
There's no list, there's no list. We do them as we.
But I thought there was a strategic, I thought we were a 5-year strategic. plan.
Well, if you want to, there's a list of the projects.
Right.
but we
That's what
don't-
I'm saying.
yeah, We don't.
Yes.
of what-
Of what was done or what
Oh,
was
yeah.
requested?
Of what was done, I believe, right?
Yeah, I'll give you, for instance, I can give you the capital improvements that are made each year. We do summarize it.
Yeah, we can.
I do keep it running the counter and do all hands on that.
Got it. Okay.
And anybody wants them, I can give it to them. They'll read it.
But there isn't like a
For
request
projection,
list.
you
Yeah,
mean?
but things come up like,
Expected stuff.
I'll show you, when I show you a list, you can see the kind of things. That
Okay.
Some of these things just happen spur of the moment, and, like if a floor needs to be redone. and,
Sure, sure.
Sewer pipe breaks.
Yeah, no, I get all that. I just wanted to see if there was like a central database of the requests that were, that are made
Sure, pause.
with kind of a priority. But I apologize for taking time away from
No,
the,
It's fine.
That's what we're here for.
It's a good question.
Okay.
but Wayne
Okay.
has his hand up.
Okay, Wayne, go ahead.
Just a quick question. One of the things we do with the labor transfers when we have them is we have this report that comes out that shows cumulatively what all the transfers were. Perhaps we could do something similar with this bonding issue that comes out monthly so that the Board of Aldermen can see it, A&T can see it. Just a normal accounting for all the different things that have gone into, been capitalized and gone into a bonding process. It would be really helpful.
Yeah, I would appreciate a running total.
I think that's what John was already saying, that he has that. So
Yeah, okay,
We can
Yes.
publish that.
okay.
It's
But
also
the finance
On our
department.
30 years of.
the finance department
They should be able
picks
to
it
do
up,
that.
when the Board of Aldermen approves
Right.
the expenditure, they pick it up and put it on the list.
That's great.
Okay,
So it says current.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bragg. Do you have anything further?
I'll say.
Shall we go forward?
Please, police department, 2,500.
All right, are there any other questions right now?
No, go to,
No,
Okay, because if there are no other questions and there is no one else there, department heads wise, then, I don't know. Looks to me like there's a motion perhaps maybe for adjournment.
Well, do we want to at least run down and see if anybody has
Yeah.
questions?
You have to go through the
We have
let's
to
go
go-
down through the departments at least.
yeah, we have to go through the departments.
8 hours.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, because I was under the impression that there was no one there.
There's no one here.
No,
but
we-
still
We need
walk
to-
through it. We're here.
We have questions.
We're here.
Oh, okay, my apologies. Okay, who do we have from departments and,
Oh, no.
No.
No, we're here,
Nobody, we just want to discuss
boards are
each
here.
group.
so give the
What do
board,
we do?
A&T members can start, make questions, or, we can go through them.
oh, all right, my apologies. All right, anybody, have any questions then?
Why don't I read the department for you? And then
All
if
right, go
anybody,
ahead.
start with the 2,500 Police Department. Discussion?
I'm not good at this.
No.
Okay, anybody have any questions as far as the police department's concerned?
Yeah, I did, but hang on, I was trying to send it to him.
just get that.
Okay, anybody from Board of A&T, any questions?
Question?
Yeah, oh, I had it out. I'm sorry. No, I forgot. What number was it?
Police department is 2,500.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So I just had, oh, I'm sorry, the
Oh,
board of
Wayne, go ahead.
A&T, go
Wayne,
ahead.
Wayne's got a question, or a point, or.
Back in 2013, I think I ran into the same question, but I have to ask this. So in 2021, and I don't know if there's a COVID issue here or not that's going on, but the budget was $7.8 million. Police department spent 5.9. That's a 20% underrun of the budget. My question is, do they have the bandwidth to bring this up from a point of $5.9 million up to $8.3 million? They've got to hire 7, 8, 9 people. I mean, do they really have the ability and the capacity to be able to do that? I went back a couple of years to see what the spending trends have been, and it's been right around $6 million. We've been budgeting over 7 million, we've been spending 6 million. So this is a sort of a chronic sort of situation. So my question again is, I love to fund, up to the $8.3 million, but again, is there a capability, is there bandwidth there to be able to bring all these officers on, hire them, train them, spend money on new systems and, whatever else needs to be done. I think, we have to point that out, that we're significantly below where we want to be. And I don't know why.
Well, as far as, if you're talking about recruiting police officers, I may have missed part of your statement, Wayne, but due to the academy and the challenges that are across the board in the state of Connecticut, recruiting good talent, I know that's one of the issues for us chronically, as the chief of police always mentions.
Right.
So that is an ongoing issue, but your point is well taken. I have actually a question in addition to yours with regard to the body armor that they're requesting in this sensitive national security issue across the nation. I'm not clear on why that's not being recommended. I mean, it doesn't seem that expensive. Why would we jeopardize not restoring their vests or whatever it, because they do have to be restored to be.
Can I address that, Chris, please?
Sure.
Go ahead.
And I had a discussion with the mayor on this earlier this week. It is his intent, first off, some of this equipment is basically required or mandated by state statute. So we have no choice. We have to get it. It is his intent to bring this forward under aldermanic bonding. And as you can see, there's 3 columns here. For protective body armor, new equipment, and body and dash cameras, which are required. We have to have them. We have no option on that. It's a question as to how we're going to fund it. It is his intent to fund that through aldermanic bonding.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Well, but we already done that.
I thought we did.
We've done some of it, Anthony, I believe. I don't have the exact figures. Some of it has been done. Some of it's in place. The remaining portions of it, I believe, under state statute have to be in place by the end of the calendar year. So we have another 8 months, let's say, to get it done.
Yeah, we already did that it's Anthony Simonetti.
We did a significant allocation, which is in process, but there's more that's necessary. And obviously, as with anything like this, you need some backup. You just can't have, you've got to have some excess capacity, excess supply.
That's a good question for the chief.
Well,
Right.
it's a good reason why I don't want to tell the chief how to do his job, but it's a good reason why the chief should be here or be on the phone to answer the questions.
Yes.
I mean, this is just a general question.
Can we?
I think you're
Want me to
entitled
text
to
him?
know this. I think it's a sensible question. If
Paul,
you
can we
come to-
reach out to the chief, and have him provide, the information?
I will speak to him after this, or speak to him tomorrow morning.
Okay.
I think
All right,
Mr.
Ed.
Evans is correct in
That-
what he's
that would be
And
saying.
if you want, I can ask him to most definitely be present, as I will be next Thursday evening.
I think
Right,
that
okay.
I would
the
appreciate
city
that.
administration should insist that department heads, particularly important ones, appear before the Board of Aldermen, the Board of Apportionment and Taxation. There's no one here tonight, and that, I think that's a disgrace.
Yeah.
So I think Mr. English is right in that regard, that the chief of police should be here.
Well, especially if you're in charge of how much, 80,
$6 to $8 million.
I mean, that's, you should come,
Substantial.
you should show up. I have a question. This is Michelle Bialik. I see, where is it? Sorry, I'm going through Mr. Simone's records administration.
You're still in police department?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
okay.
still in the police department.
What
Just
line?
a couple. So it's line 3017. Records administration, we're budgeting for, are we planning on adding an employee? Is that why it's so different from what was requested?
Adding, it's.
Where are we right now that that question's being asked?
025.511.30-17. There's an additional, it looks like.
It looks like they requested 7,300
Yeah,
and we're allocated.
No, no,
and
it's-
we're
No,
No. You gotta go up to the top to see what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Requested budget.
yeah,
They requested,
7,300.
they
you're
requested
correct.
7,300.
And the mayor recommended it.
So what's your question?
Are we planning to add, they didn't want that extra money. They're not asking for the extra money. Are we planning on adding? Do you understand what I'm saying?
actually, it looks like it's less.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if things transfer from being paper to electronic and they don't require,
Right, and
A
then we're
person,
still
I don't-
allocated, if we're
I
still,
don't
if they're requesting 7,300 and we're still allocating 49,000, then.
Well,
what's
the actual budget for last year was the,
49,000.
Right.
was the actual budget for last year was, let me see here.
It's in line with the next year's recommendation, but it's not in line
Was
with what they
84.
requested.
He's requesting
spent-
only 48.
They only spent.
They only
7,087.
spent 7,000, so he's asking for a reduction there, actually. There's see, this is a reduction. See, -85, yeah, minus 85.26%. So he's getting, he wants less money for that group.
3017.
He may have already, he maybe have already staffed it. He doesn't need any more personnel there.
Again, we need to ask him. We don't.
What's the
We don't know
difference?
the answer, so.
Right.
And the budget.
So the question about 3017, 2,500, 3017. Any other,
Yeah, and then also the next line, 4001 for gasoline, I'm just curious, it's doubling. So,
I would think because of,
is that just because of the price of gas?
I would
Well,
believe
yeah, and
so.
gas is
Okay.
going back up again.
Yeah.
I mean, just within a day, gas is up a dime
Mhm.
already. And
Okay.
here we go again with this. I mean.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The other thing is, gas. One of the mayor is talking with Derby. And Derby's got some difficulties, I don't know what they are. But the difficulties, and they wanna make a deal with us and fill up over here. And they'll have like a card, come in, and they'll pay for whatever they use.
Yeah.
So to help them over a temporary situation,
So is that within this line item?
it probably is.
Yeah.
that's a
I
good
mean,
question.
can I interject here?
All right, Paul, all right, everybody, let's have Paul.
Records
come in and
administration is basically the fee that we have to pay back to the state of Connecticut for gun permits. There's a line within the revenue budget, as you'll see, line 341-13-00 for gun permits. It had previously been budgeted for revenue of 75,000, which goes back a couple of years ago. We collect a fee, I believe the number, don't hold me to it exactly, for a gun permit of $158 from someone who registers a gun or a pistol within a resident residing within the city of Shelton. Half of that goes to the state of Connecticut. We have no control over the amount that we charge. We have no control about the amount that we pay. It's state law, and the other 168 towns in the state have the same regulation. The number of gun permits being issued has declined over the last couple of years. There's still a lot out there, but and as you can see, even on the revenue side, we had estimated revenue, excuse me, of roughly 75,000 and had taken in a little over 26,000 year to date. And so, and the expense line for that, or the
We went back to the other question.
$79, which has to be spent to the state of Connecticut, is charged under records administration as a cost.
Okay.
I hope that clarifies it somewhat.
Yeah.
And it's really a question as to volume. How many permits are you going to have or renew or whatever? And again, we're complying with the state statute on that as to the level of the fee. And we get 50%, the state gets 50%. And included in that is obviously some fees for fingerprinting, FBI examinations and credit checks or safety checks.
Background check.
Right, and you're referring here mainly to the initial permitting, correct? Because after that, it goes a 5-year period of time, you know,
Correct.
and the state contacts you and says, okay, it's time for you to, you know, renew your permit. See us down at Troop G, you know, and then it's, you know, out of the city's hands. So you're referring to
And
the initial.
you're correct, Jade. I mean, there's somewhat of a cyclical pattern to this. And I think it was 3 years ago, we were #1 in the state. We had a huge number of gun permits that were issued, the largest in the state of Connecticut. The good news is they were authorized and they were legal, as opposed to some other communities that they're not as legal as they are in Shelton.
Good fact.
Jay, I have a question, please.
All right, who's speaking, please?
Wayne has a question.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out, if you go to the position schedule, just it follows up on my comment and Chris's comment as well. It shows that there is difficulty in hiring and recruiting and hiring officers as well as non-sworn personnel. It shows that right now we're about 11 people beneath budget for 2022. The budget for 2022 is the same for 2023, so we're 11 beneath the budget for 23 as well. When you look at the underrun for 21, most of that underrun occurred in salaries and wages and labor costs. So I think if we're going to have a conversation with the chief, maybe Paul can do that. Again, I'd really like to understand how we're going to get from, you know, from 53 and 61 personnel up to 58 and 67. I think that's a reasonable question.
I think every city in the state would like to know that.
Yeah.
You know, they're all.
I'm sorry, who's that, John?
Wayne is asking a question.
Ask the question.
Okay, oh, no, I thought I also heard John say something about somebody would like to know that.
He said that he would think that most police departments are in the same predicament, looking for people.
Everybody.
Well, yeah, I know.
It's-
Officers are accelerating their retirement schedules.
I understand.
And most of this has become the I don't know, the general public's approach to the police departments. You know, the police has made many policemen just don't want to continue the career. And it's been difficult to hire, put new police.
I understand.
And I think we've been, I don't know this for a fact because I'm not on top of it, but I do know in general that we offer a better retirement plan than most communities. We offer the state plan. And so officers from towns like Bridgeport that do not offer it are willing to come to Shelton. And I think that's where the bulk of our new hires have come from, situations such as that.
Again, just looking for an outlook, that's all, because that should be baked, that's what should be baked into the budget. I mean,
Another question for the chief.
Right, you know.
Yeah, can you put that down,
I did
Jay?
the budget at Sikorsky, I did the police department and the fire department at Sikorsky too. So, you know, I'm familiar with the way these things work.
Yeah.
But, you know, the budget has to reflect reality. If we can't hire, then the budget needs to reflect that. That's all, that's all I'm saying.
Well, I would almost have a feeling that we're probably not any different than most departments that are out there where, you know, certainly you got those personnel that are going to retire and that's it. People that, you know, because of today's climate that just don't want to be a cop anymore. And they're leaving and then, you know, nobody's wanting to step up. So I would imagine we're probably in that same predicament as well. You know, but again, the budgeting part of it, you know, certainly needs to be looked at, you know, as a couple of questions that have come up.
If I could
Tom,
just
would you-
add to that, Jay,
Go ahead, Paul.
and you're correct. We're not alone. I think every municipality, particularly in our area in Fairfield, Lower New Haven County, is understaffed at this moment. We've been fortunate
Correct.
enough to hire some police officers who are fully certified, 3 that came from the city of Bridgeport, 3 that came from the state police department. And I don't know if you saw just this week, the town of Trumbull is offering a $20,000 signing bonus, in essence, over a 4-year period, 4 or 5-year period, I forget, to officers who were willing to join the town of Trumbull. It's competitive and we've held our own in a very difficult marketplace. Let's put it that way, but we're understaffed and virtually every municipality of any size with a full-time police department is understaffed at this point in time.
Correct. And I would venture to say that, you know, we're not any different than any other department across the country at this point, the way things are going. Now,
That may be true. I can't comment on other places other than Connecticut, but we're short and trying our best.
All right. Well, I'm just basing that upon, you know, a couple of different news clips that I've heard already becoming an issue.
This situation is not new and unique. This has been going on for years. An understaffed police department, a police department not staffed to full capacity. And we're on the track now of discussing individual parts of the budget, individual parts of the police budget. And that's certainly all in a good. We're seeing the trees, but I wonder about seeing the forest, because for several years now, we've been over budgeting the police department by about 20%. These figures were figures researched by Wayne Bragg. And so that's not a good thing. And that's not the best way to budget. The best way to budget for a department. I recall debates over the past years of should the money go here, should the money go there? An adverse consideration to take it from the police department and put it in other places. So there's an overall general problem here. And specifically about this problem of police, this is not anything new that's just occurred within the past few years or so. This has been going on for a long time. So, you know, we can discuss the trees, but we've got to see the forest too.
I'd like to add,
Okay.
Alderman Violet.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Violet.
I would like to see, maybe we can put that on the question is, so if we do have a difference between, you know, who we have on payroll and the amount that we're allocating for payroll, is there a plan for recruitment? That maybe some of that money can go towards a recruitment plan. So that we can utilize that money, trying to get more people on the payroll and more people in the city maybe not, $20,000 incentive, but maybe some kind of a recruitment program that will utilize that money that's already been allocated, so that we don't have to increase the budget, but we can.
I do recollect when Sean did present to us, when he came to the full board meeting, that he did have some projections and plans in place. I don't remember what they were exactly, but he did show us some projections and plans of how to recruit. But I don't.
It's a good question. Let's let Sean answer it.
Yeah.
Under the climate of the laws that have been changed, where policemen are not protected, tough to be a cop.
Yep.
I just think that to add another point here, I remember back when Chief Hurleman was the chief, we had the trouble then because you couldn't get seats in the academy, and we were subject to waiting for those seats to open up. The other thing is, it takes a good year between, you got to get somebody to get in the academy, to pass the academy. Then when they come out of the academy, they're still under training. It's almost a good year before you get a new officer, fresh out in a patrol car patrolling.
Right, but if we know that it's gonna take that amount of time, then maybe we shouldn't budget for that.
No, I understand that. I'm just making the point that we've had the problem in the past with, getting seats in the academy, and that's why we really couldn't add to the ranks. In recent years, the Board of Aldermen has made it easier to hire laterally from other departments, to ease that. But I also think too, the anti-police climate in this country has just driven people out of the police, careers.
Correct, and that's exactly what's been happening.
You've got record retirements, and it's not just in Connecticut, but it's across the country. Because you have this, you look at all these new regulations now that departments have to adhere to.
Sure.
Across the country, it just adds a burden.
Yeah, and I think that
we don't hold the criminal accountable.
I think as that's the existential, an existential issue, like what Mr. Bragg and what Mr. Nafik has brought up, is that it's a budget issue that we're looking at.
It's deeper than this.
I understand all the dynamics.
Wait, I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great
far
point.
deeper than
Oh,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
The way I'm looking at this is this way. If given everything that's going on, how difficult it is to hire officers.
Yeah,
the climate in the country relative to police, all of those things. I want to see them at full staff. I want to see 61 officers out there with the downtown growing the way it is and the number of appointments. We should be opening our substation again. Let's have more presence. But the purpose of a budget is to reflect the reality of the business situation, because it's all about meeting your strategy, all about executing your vision. Creating and making sure that we're allocating the resources in the right way so that we can achieve each of those goals. And if we're putting too much money in one area and it's not going to be spent, then we're essentially taking it away from somebody else. That's my concern. That was my duty is running the budget for Sikorsky Aircraft. I had to make sure that the company was achieving its strategy. That meant taking some money, if somebody wasn't going to spend it, gave it to someone else who was strategically in a position where they could move the company forward. That's all I'm suggesting. That's all I'm suggesting.
Well,
I think that, moving forward, we should probably just make sure that the chief is present to be able to answer all the rest of these questions. Because I think, yes, while it's a budget thing, I think at this point we can keep on talking more and more about it, and it's really not going to get us anywhere without having the person present to answer all the questions.
Definitely agree.
John
Angles has a question.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Bear with me because my battery in the left ear was dead. So I can hear.
We'll have one ear dropped in for you there, John, by drone.
What I'd like to suggest is that the clerk send a copy of the minutes to the chief and ask the chief to give us the courtesy of responding to the questions that were raised the best he can.
Yeah, well, I would like for him to be here. I mean, if farther than just giving like a written, a written response. I think it would be due diligence to show up.
All you can do is ask.
He used to come.
We've tried this before. The mayor said, the department heads, it's up to them whether they want to be here or not. She's not compelling them to be here.
Those are key words. The mayor says.
I don't think we have the authority to compel them.
We can ask, that's all we can do.
It's not something in the charter, there's no, we have no muscle.
Mr. Chairman, you can either ask him,
Well, I
I'm
think
sure
the
he'll
best way
respond
is
by
to try and get him to respond.
He'll respond.
paper, but if he can call in, maybe even.
Correct.
And Paul could put a fire under him.
All right, do we have anything else? Let's move on here so that we can kind of get on top of things here. All right, so what is our next here on the
2000.
agenda? I think it was the
2000 public
EMS,
safety.
correct?
2000 Public Safety and Emergency Services.
Yep, roger that. Okay, are there any questions that anybody has with respect to these issues here? And I assume there's no one there from either departments, correct?
There's nobody here
Correct.
for anything.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions that they would
No,
like to
I
have
don't.
answered, or anything that you would like to discuss?
Wasn't really big,
Yeah, it's,
small.
Not many
I
different.
I have no questions. I know
Oh,
A&T is
yeah.
supposed to respond first.
Well,
Sorry.
they got
Okay.
what they were requesting so
Yeah.
far, so.
And that's
All
not
right.
big.
All right, so moving on down then, from what, 21 and even 22?
2100
Let's
is
start with
EMS
21.
Commission.
EMS,
There's no one there from the EMS Commission?
There's nobody here.
Period.
Okay, any questions that anybody may have for the EMS Commission? Or anything that needs to be discussed with respect to EMS?
well,
Or
they got
EMS
what they
Commission.
requested, so.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along, 2200 Fire Marshal. I assume he is also not present?
Nobody's here.
Nobody's here for
Okay.
any.
Very
Anybody,
good.
there's no department
Good.
heads.
Just wanted to clarify and make sure. Any questions or concerns with respect to the budget for them, the fire marshal and or fire department? We'll kind of put those together.
Oh, that's right, usually I get.
Yeah, I thought so.
No?
Okay,
Jay, Wayne has a question.
Quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wayne, go ahead.
Very similar situation to the police department. We've got, again, differences in positions. There's a 24% underrun in 2021. Again, same question, what's their bandwidth to be able to get up to the level that they're being budgeted for? Without getting into all the details.
Right, okay. 20, where are we now? Let's move on. 2300 Animal Control.
200 fire
I think
marshal.
they just did you do?
Oh, I thought we just got through with that. Okay, my apologies.
The next one is 2400. They went out of sequence.
Yeah, they're not in order, but we're just going by the list here.
Right. I was kind of just, kind of bulking those two up, but my mistake.
Make a note for next year, try to get these in
In
the order
order,
that they're
yeah.
listed. so
Yeah, I don't know.
we're Jumping all over the lot.
All right, so for 2400, obviously nobody's there. Anybody have any questions? Any concerns with the budget for them?
Well, I have a question. It involves $10,000, the
I know, right?
24.
storm watch,
John, are you looking at that?
John,
2400,
No, we'll do
512.
Can I have the
Oh, you
book?
could take it, yeah.
35,000.
I'm just looking at the-
Yeah, we're doing it this way.
Less was
It's too much.
appropriated, and it's unfortunate that we don't have someone here to say, explain why the amount requested was not granted. Why is there that disparity?
Going
2400?
2400.
Yeah, 2400 storm watch,
For the fire department.
2400, 512.10-05. Page 26.
All right, any responses or anybody else that has any concerns with respect to the fire department, 2400?
Are they looking to add personnel?
Well, I don't know, that's kind of difficult to answer, I would say, mainly because of the fact that I think the only real paid personnel are like the fire marshals, you know, people like that. Otherwise, with a, you know, volunteer department, by and large, volunteer department, you know, it would be good to have
There's a line
them
item for
answer that.
fire, there's a fire apparatus maintainer
Right.
that they're requesting.
The fire department has an ongoing program of looking for recruits. They have it up on the website, and they have it on the website and posted on every firehouse that they're always looking for recruits. Yeah.
Well, this is it's a specific
It's a very specific position.
fire apparatus maintainer. Is that something that
Well,
we're
I
required to
mean,
have?
It's a person who takes care of the equipment, exactly, yeah.
Are we required to have this person?
I don't know how we could do without them.
They're
Someone
not-
who can
they're
make
not
sure the
on the
oxygen works when you're going to a fire and the other equipment works.
payroll. Are they
yes.
on the payroll now?
I would think I know we have maintenance. I don't know if it's that
Yeah,
specific.
Is it
person.
outside, could be an outside person too that
Position
comes in.
schedule says one thing and the budget says another.
Okay, let's make that a note, Jay, for the fire chief. What's the number on that line?
1001.
1001. It's a number 20.
And then schedule budget
And then
form number
position-
2.
Position schedule.
Yeah.
It's different information.
Okay,
Yep.
Can't see it. Fire
Fire apparatus
Right, okay.
maintainer.
apparatus. Okay,
It's in this, this big one.
Break down the line.
Got it.
In bulk.
fire chief. James,
On my flash drive that I don't have.
Computer.
Yeah, mine.
all right, is there anything else? Any other questions or concerns for fire department slash equipment maintainers? No? All right, 2300 animal control. Any questions or concerns about with respect to animal control?
Did he come last meeting? He came, didn't he?
I missed it. I was having a-
Now we're past it.
I don't know, that was-
He didn't come last time?
Yeah, I was
Last
here
time?
last time. I
Last
just
meeting.
think-
I thought we talked
Yeah, I
about
was
this.
here last for the budget. Because I was having my card.
I thought he was, oh, maybe he was here for a transfer. That's probably what it was.
You guys.
Yeah.
All right, there's nothing. They got what they requested.
No? Okay. All right, moving on. By the way, if we can kind of pull things back a little bit here, when it comes to any of the questions, and I thought I maybe mentioned it prior, but maybe I did not. With respect to any questions to be asked, we should, go in line, Board of A&T first. If there's nobody from Board of A&T, then we'll move on to the Board of Aldermen. Okay? All right, so again, if there's no questions or any concerns from anybody from Board of A&T with respect to animal control and what their budget is or what they are budgeted for, any questions? Okay, and one last time, anybody from Board of A&T, any questions with respect to animal control, 2300? No? All right, Board of as you were, Board of Aldermen, please. Any questions, concerns?
No, John.
No.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Moving on, 1100, probate court. Any questions or concerns with respect to that budget? Board of A&T?
It's all state regulated.
John, it's Wayne. Again, just an observation and concern. I know Paul has, in his budget request, he asks all the departments to please do a zero-based budget. In this particular budget, and I've seen in a few others, the request for 2023 is 14.7. The 2022 budget was 14.7. There was absolutely no change. I don't, and every line item was absolutely identical. So economic conditions have changed and we've got inflation. My household budget is different. I don't understand why these are identical from year to year. I mean, we talk about professional services, office supplies and postage. There should have been a reestimate.
Yeah, and Paul, do you have any, anything to answer on that? Anything
I
you might have
didn't
any
hear quite
knowledge
what
of?
Wayne said. Is on the probate court?
Correct.
Yes.
Wayne, would you pose that question again, please? Or the concern?
And it's just an observation that the budget that's being proposed is identical to the same budget in 2022. There are 3 line items. These are line items that would be very inflation prone: professional services, office supplies, postage. My concern is, why weren't these re-estimated?
Hey, Paul, anything you can answer to that?
I'm not picking up Wayne as well for some reason. Your microphone. If it pertains to the probate court, that's state
That's
mandated.
correct.
All state
Yeah,
regulated.
it's all state regulated.
The supplies and postage. are
Okay, and that's, with respect to, the same each year
Correct.
being budgeted? Yeah. All right, nothing further on that one then, Paul?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, very good, thank you. All right, Board of Aldermen, any questions or concerns that you have about probate court?
No.
No.
No, okay, moving on, 1400, town, as you were, city town clerk. Any questions, Board of A&T, concerns?
Okay, it's Wayne. Same question as the prior one. This one's got even less change. This goes all the way back to 2021, identical numbers. 18,450, 21, 22, 18,450, 2023, 18,450. 4 line items, all identical. That, in my estimation, is not a zero-based budget.
Hey, Paul, did you hear that?
I'm not picking up Wayne. Wayne, are you near a microphone? I'm really not picking up your comments.
Right on top of it.
Change mics with the guy.
Yeah.
It's on.
How about, is that any better?
That's better. Thank you.
So again, Paul, my concern is they have 3 consecutive years with the exact same dollar number, the exact same number in every account. My feeling is that doesn't meet your requirements for a zero-based budget.
On which line is this, Wayne?
It's the
Town city clerk.
1200 account, 1009, 1213, 1011, and 1019.
Oh, did you say 1200?
1400.
We're on 1400.
1400, wait,
1400.
yeah.
I'm on the wrong one. I'm on
1200, okay.
Yeah, so
Again,
But
1400.
we're on 1400.
I'm slow.
You're ahead.
Yeah,
You're
way ahead.
halfway down the road. We're nowhere near that.
She did ask for an increase.
I think the one thing is that in the town clerk, in the city town clerk's office, everything is fairly consistent. I mean, their numbers hold steady. And a lot of, some of their numbers relate to, for example, on indexing services, that's the volume of records that are kept, and it's an outside agency that does it for us, and there'll be more coming in. We will spend a lot of that money. I noticed that there's only 11,000 that have been spent, but it will be, a lot more will be spent because of the records that are being added, particularly with a lot of real estate transfers and refinancing on mortgages.
If I may, Chairman, if.
Okay, go ahead. Mr. Simonetti?
Line 40-07, we collect the fee on dog licenses, that all that money's got to go to the state. We don't hold any of it.
There's a fee that goes to the state, yes, and there's a revenue part in that. That frankly doesn't start up until late May. Obviously, there's some revenue coming in. It's primarily the month of June in which dog licenses are renewed.
Okay. All right. Board of A&T, anything further? Okay. Board of Aldermen, anything further with respect to 1400, city or town clerk?
No.
Okay. 1500, public employees and appeals boards. Any questions or concerns, Board of A&T?
All right. Yeah. Nope.
No? Okay. Board of Aldermen, any questions or concerns?
No.
1600, senior center. Any questions from the Board of A&T with respect to senior center?
This is Wayne.
No?
No,
What's
Wayne
that?
has a question. Wayne Bragg has a
Wayne
question.
Bragg. You have a
Okay,
question?
Wayne, go ahead.
A really significant increase in payroll in here, and I can't quite figure it out from the position schedule. But the 2021 actual is, regular payroll was 86,000. 2013 request is 201,000. So there's a really huge jump in payroll here. And it's difficult to tell because there's a lot of part-time employees here, people that come in, run the different programs for them. So it's rather difficult to tell exactly what's going on. But that one might deserve a question here.
All right, Paul?
I think basically what it is, first off, as a result of COVID, the senior center over the last 24 months has not had as much activity, obviously. Hopefully, we're through that, and I believe it's the mayor's intent to add another full-time individual. Right now, as you can see, there was budgeted for more. There's not being that much spent as far as the director's position, which is full-time. But the intent is to create another full-time position with benefits at the senior center. And because of expanded utilization, hopefully, there'll be needs for other similar needs for part-time personnel as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
John Engels,
go ahead.
A comment.
just a comment. They've increased their programs. They've increased the numbers of people, and they not only service Shelton people, they service people from other towns can join as well. I think they limit the number, but the number of programs that they've got up there is dramatically increased, and people are really, because they've been kept in their homes, so to speak. They're just squirming. It's just a tremendously good program.
Yeah.
Just as an aside, Ansonia shut down their senior center, tried it in different little areas. It's still not really up to speed. Their senior center did not get built out after the police station was built out because of an error in the estimate on the build. So they won't be open until sometime in October, maybe, of this year. So there's still people that might be coming in from there also.
Yes, if there's
Well,
a,
I'm sure that, we have maybe vehicle maintenance and update too with that, right? Because I think we have a couple of vehicles that come
Right.
under at the same time.
Travel?
Everybody knows.
Is it under
Well,
travel?
They have several, the Valley Transit buses do bring people in. That's
Is that
what
Okay.
travel?
travel.
All right, I thought we had a couple of vehicles
Used to,
that we had to be able to pick people up and transport.
it was more economical to switch over to Valley Transit.
Got it.
It's a lot simpler. People, call and make their own arrangements, and they can access, go up there whenever they want to. With our vehicle, they had to go on our schedule.
Yeah.
if there's a request for more personnel in this budget line item, I would think, based on observation, it's warranted, because I saw the woman who's in charge of the senior center in the supermarket personally buying food for the senior center, and I think that's commendable.
Doreen does, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she does
Oh,
everything.
She's
Yeah.
awesome. She is.
Does a great job.
Absolutely phenomenal. You're absolutely
She
right.
puts everything into
Very
that.
dedicatedly.
Her daughter was actually working with her. They moved the daughter upstairs to engineering.
Engineering.
Mhm.
So they may be hiring, they're hiring for her position over there too.
Okay. All right. What about Board of Aldermen? Anything to add to this of any concern or questions?
No.
Okay. All right, let's see, where are we here? 1700, Drug and Alcohol Commission. Any questions or concerns as far as that? Or does anybody need them for that matter? I'm just kidding. Any questions or concerns? Board of A&T? No? All right. Board of Aldermen?
Yes, Jay. Alderman Durante.
Okay, Alderman Durante, go ahead.
Just because being new to this process, but seeing zero and with the increase in opioids, fentanyl, and God knows anything else, does this department, the drug and alcohol department, fall into someone else's area?
Time out for just 1 second. Just, Alderman Simonetti. There's nothing in the book about this. 1700, and I can't find it in my.
It's missing in this book.
It's missing in the Excel file.
Maybe it's in
Yeah.
another file down below. No.
It comes under another.
Well, I
Well,
think,
outside agencies, there's a
It's
bunch.
Yeah.
a commission, it's a
Outside
commission, it's not a,
Correct.
it doesn't do.
Is that in the
Anthony,
draft? So it's not
the hard
miscellaneous?
copy shows
Yeah,
zero.
there's a lot of outside agencies.
Yeah, it's
So
outside.
there's nothing to it. There's
All
nothing
right,
to it.
one at a time, please.
right, this is Chris. I recall that the
Go ahead,
outside
Chris.
used to
Yeah.
come and present, et cetera. So I don't think as far as our budget, we would have a line item, but that's what I
So it's
recollect.
not an item that we get involved in.
Would that be a
Got
part of the police
Like-
budget?
I think a lot of it comes
Yeah,
under,
emergency-
like Chris
Emergency-
had said, there's a lot of outside
Yeah.
agencies.
Community outreach
that
programs,
come
things like
under-
that.
Under the miscellaneous.
Yeah,
part
we
of
give
the budget.
money to those.
They come.
reps.
But a
And
drug
they-
and alcohol
they usually
commission is
come.
not that.
Is that anybody
No.
that's?
So if I
that's in
could just
charge
finish
of
my
that?
statement
Yeah.
or
Go ahead,
question.
go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Durante.
I'd like to know at what point or what department addresses alcohol and drugs, whether it falls under the police department or if it falls under this line item. To me, I felt was important with what's going on.
So that's what I'm trying to explain to you. There's multiple outside agencies that are responsible for.
Who do they check to? Who do they respond to?
Well, I
Who do
can't
they-
answer that without,
State,
they usually
I think.
present, but they usually
Okay,
present.
Paul, do you have anything to add to that?
I don't have anything to add, no.
I do recall.
Obviously,
as-
there's outside agencies that work with that.
And they do, but
Got
then
it.
management with the Narcan, and I mean, in the police department, they're all interlinked and integrated with these outside agencies, which are in the budget, under miscellaneous community outreach. Remember, they come, the director that presented that whole
He's
presentation.
never been
They
here.
work with
No,
the
no, I
police.
know, but
Yeah,
that's,
they,
I'm
they
just
do make the
explaining. Commission is
presentations.
different than, it's
Well, I would
not,
think they're the person. Oh, okay.
yeah, it's.
We'll get
I
to
have
it.
an add-on question, Alderman Violet. Would that be
Go ahead.
something, or our commission would be, it would be under the public health and safety?
No, again, the outside vendors report, but the other thing, John, as I recollect, and Paul maybe, the Naugatuck Valley, they're more involved in all of that kind of stuff. And that's where that.
Yeah,
falls.
and I think what
Naugatuck Valley Health Commission.
asking, if I can see if I'm understanding your question correctly, is there a point person from the city that these people contact to coordinate these programs? Right.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I think it's multifaceted. It's emergency management. I know Fran Jones is involved. There's all different people that
Valley
are
Health.
linked with them.
EMS.
Yeah, EMS, I don't get directly involved with them. They don't come to our meetings or
Yeah.
anything like that. But Fran and Mike Maglione, those are the people that update me. I get the training for Narcan at the Public Health and Safety. We get the demographic, we get the breakdown, how much it was used, blah, blah, blah. So those are the people that are accountable. But again, the outside agencies are also part of this program. So it's more of a community.
So there's no one specific person.
To my
but-
knowledge, I mean, there's not a
Okay.
commission, if you're asking me. that.
Right.
Not
Is
to my
there,
knowledge.
is there a community outreach?
Yes.
And who does
And
that
they
fall
use,
under?
well, that's what I mean. They usually present. So I don't remember the director
okay.
saying she came.
Maybe.
She's come several times.
There are several
Different,
groups.
right,
One of them
the
is
youth group.
actually based at the church on the Green in Huntington. They
Okay.
have a group there that does all kinds of counseling.
Yeah.
They see about, if I remember, the last time they were here, they presented They see about 6,000 people a year in the city of Shelton. That's why we say we're gonna give you X amount of dollars because you're taking care of our, I'm not talking about adults, I'm talking about children, students, teachers, everybody. So that's what they do, yeah. And there's several of them that, they're not just them. There's a group out of Milford, there's one out of New Haven, Waterbury, Wallingford. So there's
Yeah,
different ones
there's
that
all different
they come in to
chapters.
look for funds to help keep their offices open, and then they get referrals, some from Shelton.
Which I'd like to add, with those miscellaneous, we do give them funds. This just isn't the line. item
Pages
that gets the
57 and
funds.
58, there's the
Yeah,
list
yeah,
of all
There
the,
they are. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're,
it's all good.
yeah, they're all.
on, outside agencies. They're all listed
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I was just, so these are the agencies. And then they-
Domestic violence group, you got all kind, and it's,
They're money
Yeah,
and
there's
funding
many,
to help the
yeah.
community.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
So it's
yeah,
on.
so that
page
line basically is just misleading. It's not, it's
57, so remember.
probably a line.
Okay.
No.
All right, so Mr. Durante, you're satisfied with what was, explained to you then?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Ms. Bialek, you also satisfied? I know you chimed in to get a question answered as well, I believe.
Yeah, it was answered.
Okay, very good. All right, 1900, Legal Corporation Counsel. Any questions or concerns with respect to that? Board of A&T.
Hey, it's Wayne Bragg. Again,
Okay, Wayne, go ahead.
Another situation, we have 3 years of budgets, identical number, identical line items, no, reestimate on any place. I don't think it meets the criteria for a zero-based budget.
Okay. Anybody else from Board of A&T? No? All right, Board of Aldermen?
You're looking at 1900, right?
Right,
Legal
yeah,
counsel?
1900.
Correct. 1900, Legal Corporation Counsel. No?
I have a comment about Corporation Counsel. Corporation Counsel doesn't only do the city work, they also do work for the Board of Education. So sometimes they have, if you see the number might be looks higher, they sometimes have to get involved in different things every third year, obviously contracts, things like that. So that number can go up and down. And depending on now that the city is going to be in negotiations for property and things like that, there'll be more work being done.
Well, I think that's,
Right.
this is Alderman Bialek, I think that's Wayne's point, is that the requested budget is pretty much the same as the actual of 2021. It's not very much. So if we're expecting it to go up, if we're expecting to have more,
Yeah, well, the mayor
happening.
is expecting that, you
They
can see, but,
requested more.
And that's
so,
why he allocated.
so that's why he allocated more, because he knows
He
what's going
allocated
on as
more.
far as.
Yeah.
well, I have the actual for 2021 at 82,075.
Right, and the mayor's recommending 100,000, so he knows.
Oh, I have that. I don't have that here.
Yeah, well, that's what it says here, so.
Oh, so then this one is wrong.
I think, is that just the department's request though, that book? I don't think the
Yeah,
mayor's
I don't
request
think
is
the
in there.
mayor's recommendations are.
That's
in
just
the
the
book.
department, what they turn in, I
That's what
think.
Those are the.
The mayor's is
down
only
from
on
that.
the. I think,
Oh, it's only
on
on
here.
here. Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's okay.
The Corporation Counsel and Assistant John English. The Corporation
Okay, John,
Counsel-
go ahead.
The Corporation Counsel and Assistant Corporation Counsel have paid a salary plus an hourly rate for.
Okay, we've got more than one person talking, so if we can just please one at a time. Mr. English, go ahead, sir.
Who's the other person that was talking?
I don't know. I heard some other, stuff in the background there. It sounded like communication between two people.
Actually, most of what they get comes from added work and added hours.
Right.
And each month, they submit to the Board of Aldermen a list of what they did, the time spent on it, and the hourly rate. And the hourly rate for the Corporation Counsel is $175, and for Assistant Corporation Counsel is $165. So there is some, the mayor has put in some more, it's built in, it's recommending 100,000 for that salary account because he anticipates more work.
So, this is Alderman Bialek. So is the extra hourly rate, is that within that bucket? Is the hourly rate assumed in that payroll bucket, or is it out of a different, is it out
Yeah,
of
it's-
capital, is it out of general, it's out of this?
It's on that line.
It's on that line?
It's on the line.
It's in that.
Yeah, it's on the, it's on the line item as far as the recommendations. So it's, the regular payroll, 1,900, right, and he anticipates.
Their payroll is
Yeah, just,
100,000, the mayor is recommending 100,000, and what they've had for this year is 82,839.
Okay,
That was, that would be for both of them.
yeah, okay.
Then you see the contract with us also provides for legal services. This goes back to more than 30 years. So, you know, the same concept.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ingles. All right, anybody else from Board of Aldermen? Okay, moving right along, 2700, Youth Services Bureau, CAP. Board of A&T, any questions, concerns, or comments?
I don't remember that one.
No? All right, it's 2700. All right, and what about Board of Aldermen? Any questions, concerns, or comments with respect to Youth Services Bureau, CAP? No? Okay, 2900, Public Health. Once again, Board of as you were, Board of A&T. Questions, concerns, or comments? No? Board of Aldermen. Any questions or concerns or comments with respect to Public Health? No? Okay, moving right along. 1200, elected, appointed officials. Any questions, Board of A&T?
Hold on a second.
Hold on,
It's
man.
taking us a while.
Slow down. Move too fast.
Got it.
I agree with John. Let's put them in order next year.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, it would be nice.
But they did say it was based on what they said they'd come to present.
Yeah, we should-
For non-members, it should be
So we'll put them in order next year.
Exactly. They can kick off.
This is your scheduled time,
Exactly.
whether you come or not. This is what how
Exactly,
we're doing.
like I did that year. They don't care.
It hasn't changed.
Okay, so duly noted. I will slow down a little bit then.
That's okay.
All right. So I would assume that at this point, there aren't any questions or concerns on this one that anybody has at all. Okay. We're going to move right on. 2900, Public Health.
We just did that. 4,500 would be
No,
nice.
excuse me, I'm sorry. 4,500. Yep, services, I'm sorry.
No problem.
It's a done deal. Yeah.
Board of A&T?
Nope.
No? Board of Aldermen?
Wait.
Hold on,
Hold on a second.
one
John.
sec.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're all the way in the back, trying to move the
that
book.
big book is
Okay,
tough to,
I think this one should be, Paul should go through and explain line item by line item what, as only he can do.
All right, there are basically 4 line items here. The debt on existing debt, the interest rather on existing debt. All of these figures are figures that we are required to pay, otherwise we would be in default. And this is where we are scheduled with the existing debt for the city. As you note, there's a small increase of about 130,000 in debt service budget this year. It primarily comes about because we borrowed back in December of 2021, just over $5 million at what was then a very favorable rate, and which is now an unheard of rate. We borrowed at 0.55% over a 5-year period.
see that again.
And the repayments of that debt are scheduled within this budget. The long-term debt, as I say, is existing bonds and bank notes, which are payable. The WPC is a monthly payment to the state for the construction that was done many, many years ago, probably 15 years ago, for the expansion and updating of the water treatment plant. And the final line there for 270,000 is the monthly payment on a new ladder truck, which was purchased roughly a year and a half in December of 20, or November of 20 rather. And that's a 5-year note, just over $22,000 a month we're paying on that. We borrowed approximately $1,360,000 for that truck, which was a very good buy at that time. And that truck is stationed at the Echo Hose Firehouse.
All right, any comments or questions of Mr. Paul there? No? Okay, let's move right along here. Okay, 5,200, we're going on 5,200 now. I'll give you all a chance to flip to the page if you need to. Okay.
It's Wayne.
Okay, Board of A&T, Wayne, go ahead.
Question on line item 30-39. We spent 86,000 in 2021. It looks like it's a really large system that's going in. 2023 is $238,000. Can Paul comment on what this is for?
Hey, Paul?
I cannot comment specifically on it, and I think next week, if we get the chief there, he'd be able to address that issue.
How much did the mayor recommend for that?
This 237,981. Yeah.
Okay. Board of Aldermen, anything to add or concerns with respect to management information services? 5,200. No? Okay, 5,600. Public risk management. All right, if anybody needs to turn to the page. Board of A&T, any questions, concerns, or comments? Public risk management. Oh, Mr. Bragg, anything?
Nothing.
Okay, very good, sir. All right, Board of Aldermen, any comments or questions? Public risk management. No? Okay, 5,700, accounting and control. Board of A&T. Any questions or concerns, comments? All right, Board of Aldermen? No? Okay. 00000, accounting as you were, revenue. Board of A&T, any questions, concerns, or comments?
Yeah, I'm just going through this every.
All right, who's speaking, please?
Wayne Bragg.
Okay, Wayne, go ahead.
American Rescue Plan funding, I just read today's paper, we're gonna get $1.5 million from the American Rescue Plan we're gonna use for road repair. Is that recorded as revenue in this budget? I couldn't find it.
It's not in the budget. It's not part of the budget.
It's not part of the budget.
Okay, so outside of the budget, right? Okay.
Okay, all right, Board of Aldermen, any questions, comments, or concerns? Revenue?
No.
No? Okay. 6,100, miscellaneous. Board of A&T.
Yes, I have a question, item 6,100, 624, 7921. youth
Okay,
program.
and is this Mr. Bragg
Joe
speaking
Knapp.
again?
Joe
Okay,
Knapp.
Mr. Knappich, go ahead.
Number is it, Joe, again, please?
6,100.
624, 7921, youth programs. $40,000 was appropriated and only 7,125 to this point was taken or spent. Is there an explanation for that? $7,000 down from 40,000? Are they just taking their money in stages or at different times, or what's going on there? Anyone know?
Is this what's coming under 6,100 for miscellaneous?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Youth
Okay.
program.
7921.
If I could address that,
Go ahead, Paul.
earlier this month, the Board of Aldermen at their meeting passed an allocation of $10,000 out of this program, which is being spent as we speak. This is for the robotics team from Shelton High School, which has gone in years past. They haven't in the last 2 years, but this year they're wrapping up. They're in Houston, Texas. And they're down there and money is being spent on this. This again is a program or various programs here that frankly, under COVID, we didn't have places to spend the money. We're now getting places, witness the fact that for the first time in 3 years, the robotics team, which has been very, very competitive and successful on a national level. I obviously don't have the results as to what's happening in Houston today, but we'll probably hear that within the next 48 hours. And money like that is being spent there. And so I think a lot of these things are as a result of there hasn't been not the ability to spend the money, but the opportunity to spend the money on various programs for primarily the teenage community.
So that
Got
extra money, because of an opportunity, is lacking to spend the money? Is that what you would say, Paul?
It's not state law. It's just the option as to where the city wants to spend it.
That's unclear to me.
Paul, if I may.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, Anthony.
Thank you, Chairman. And because of COVID, I guess, the programs were all shut down. So they're putting the money in there so that we can move forward and budget, pay for certain things for youth services, such as a 10,000 to keep the robotics team moving forward.
So the extra money is in anticipation of an opportunity to spend the money.
Yeah, there's probably some detail in the book.
Correct.
Maybe Michelle can look it up for that line item. Maybe it'll say something.
Was 40,000 recommended for next year?
40,000.
Yes.
Budget, yeah. 2022 budget.
There's nothing
Line
on that.
79.
And again, we didn't know last year whether,
7921.
they had let up on some of the items as far as COVID, but again, schools were separating the students most of the year. Now they're not separated. They weren't wearing masks. Now they aren't wearing masks. Things like that.
I don't have any details on that.
No detail on it?
No.
Maybe we could ask for detail on that.
I have a quick question, Alderman Bialik.
Go ahead.
If we do not use the money every year, does it roll over, or is it just, or are we trying to use the money every year?
It would return to general fund surplus as any under expenditure would. It does not carry forward. Let's put it that way.
I don't
Okay.
see any details.
Anybody else from Board of Aldermen?
Yeah, Jay, it's McPherson.
71.
Go ahead, Eric.
Paul, couldn't some of this too, I think, into the better weather, because there are a lot of seasonal activities. So as you get into the warmer weather, that expenditure level is going to go up.
I think it's correct. It's somewhat indirectly weather related and seasonally related. The springtime is a better time to do it. And as I said before, I think, COVID shut down a lot of these opportunities, and they're reopening as we speak.
And that latest expenditure isn't on this current year to date either, so that should
That
be
would not be, no, because it was just.
It just happened.
appropriated, 2 weeks.
Yeah, Yeah,
A week ago tonight, actually, a week ago
Oh,
tonight.
yeah,
Yeah.
so almost half is spent now,
Board of
so yeah.
Aldermen.
We approved it last week.
Okay, very good. All right, if there aren't any more questions or concerns on miscellaneous, moving right along to 6,200, capital spending. Board of A&T, any questions or concerns or comments? 6,200, capital spending.
It's not in the book.
Not in the book, it's not on the card, the
It's
computer
a
card.
zero account.
Zero,
It's a
John,
zero account. Next.
zero.
Okay, and
count.
that's 6,300 vehicle funds?
No, there's
No,
zero.
it's not in the book.
It's a zero count as well.
Zero count.
Okay,
What is that for?
Just to keep-
and, no, that's a good question. Paul?
Well, no, usually
When needed, if we had a specific capital project that we're going to fund in advance, most of them are funded during the course of the year through automatic bonding.
Is that 6,200, Paul, or 6,300?
6,300.
Both,
Yeah, probably both.
both.
62, I believe.
That's what I thought.
And then what about 63? Is that the same?
63 would be the vehicle purchases, which historically or most recently have been purchased through automatic bonding. Trucks, police cars, vehicles.
Okay, Paul, can you also perhaps maybe shed some light on 9,900? The contingency accounts, I would assume that those are probably the same thing as the capital spending and the vehicle funds as well.
Well, the contingency account really is for unanticipated items. As you can see, we spent 47,000 on the previous through March. These are things again that have to go. A report is given to the Board of A&T on that spending. There was a recent allocation. John, you may remember, I don't have it in front of me, but at last Board of Aldermen meeting on contingency. And it's for unanticipated happenings, unanticipated occurrences that may need an emergency source of funds.
Okay. All right, Board of A&T, any questions or concerns with respect to 9,900? Any comments? No? Okay. Board of Aldermen, what about you? Any questions, concerns, or comments for 9,900 contingency accounts? No? Okay. All right, Paul, if we're able to reach out to, perhaps maybe, if not just the departments where there was certainly some concern, kind of reflecting back, police department, public safety, EMS commission, fire marshal, et cetera. If they are not going to be present, if you can maybe ask them to at least put in some answers to the questions that were posed, and again, invite them back along with the others so that we can certainly get all of this closed out. Okay.
I have sent a message to the police chief during this meeting, and we'll talk further.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So unless there's any further business that's up before Board of A&T and Board of Aldermen.
Question?
There is further business.
John Ingles has a question.
Okay, Mr. Ingles, go ahead.
I think I'd like to suggest that you modify what you're going to ask the departments. First of all, I think each department that was talked about here tonight should be sent a copy of these minutes.
Yeah.
And they should be asked to review them specifically and to respond and to tell them that the Board of A&T has only until next week, the 28th, I believe, to finish their work on the budget. So
Correct. Yep.
their response pro haste.
And I would recommend that if it's done via
Wait, I'm not
electronically.
finished yet.
Oh, I'm
You're
sorry.
recommending.
Go ahead, John.
If there's anything I hate, it's being interrupted.
I thought you were done.
Well, you interrupted my train of thought here.
I'm sorry.
And I just want them to understand that this is a courtesy. You don't have to come here per the mayor's orders. But the least you can do is review and give this committee the courtesy. We've come out to discuss and to gain an understanding of the budget and what you're doing, what your department's doing. We expect and hope that you will give us the courtesy of not just wasting our time here and you not paying attention to what we're doing. So help us to understand what you're doing and appreciate what you're doing. We know you're doing good things and we just want to, we've got, as I look around the table, we've got 1, 2, 3, maybe four people who are here for the first time. And they've never been through this before. They have questions, as we all did when we sat here for the first time. And we need to have your dialogue to help us understand what you're doing and appreciate what you're doing. And that's all we're asking. I mean, we're not trying to set anybody up, that's all we're about. And I think if we focus on that and you cooperate with us, and hey, please, I'm asking, get back to with the answers to the questions that were raised. Review these minutes and get back in a timely manner so that we can go forward. Thank you.
Yes,
Excellent.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
and I
I
think
have
that's
a comment.
an excellent point, Mr. Anglais. Very, very good point.
Comment from
Okay.
Joe Napick. on what,
Joe Napick has a
all the-
comment.
on
All
what
right,
all-
go ahead, Joe.
The department head should come here per the mayor's orders. It's not a courtesy that they're providing. And the Board of Aldermen, the fiscal authority of the city of Shelton, should insist that the mayor do this and that they do appear. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right,
We have no
Is there
authority
anything
to provide
else?
all.
Oh, but you can
Yeah.
ask.
They
Yeah,
don't work for us, they work for the mayor.
it's
It
Chris.
may be the fiscal authority, but that's the extent that we have.
Yeah, but you can always
all right, go
ask,
ahead, Chris.
make it public.
Let Chris speak.
All I would ask you, if the communication with the questions is conveyed via an electronic email, that you definitely do a return receipt read, so it's acknowledged, documented, and put in the record. Because there may be people that don't even read the email, and I'd like that known.
Okay, very good.
All
All right, anyone else?
I have a comment. Lost it. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost my comment. Appreciate
Oops. You mean
That
you lost
happens as we-
your thought about your comment?
so much going on. Someone to call for the adjournment.
Oh, okay, so am I hearing a motion to adjourn?
A&T.
So moved.
Okay, second?
John Boyko.
All right,
Second.
John Boyko, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, everyone, thank you very much for your time
Thank you.
and patience. And please be safe out there.